Hi there, it's Paula Ritchie. I'm glad you could join me for a little yoga. So, this is just a 15-minute kind of way to reset your back, reset your glutes, reset your legs. Feels great first thing in the morning, at the end of the day, really anytime. And my favorite part about it is you can do the whole practice lying down. Gotta love that, right? Before we start, let's just do a little bit of centering breathing. It's always great to kind of lower your baseline. You know, the world is a very frenetic place. So taking a moment just to settle. And once we settle, then we can move a little bit easier into our bodies. So we'll take a moment, take a nice big inhale together and exhale. And do the inhaling through the nose if you can. You can exhale through the mouth for the first few, but then once you start to feel more settled, start to breathe through the nose, both inhale and exhale. And of course, if you want to add ujjayi to this, you can do that as well. All right, so make our way down to the mat. And here, as we settle into the mat now, as we've changed, we'll take another couple of breaths just to get the shoulders relaxed and get the hips relaxed. Start with our right leg. So we're going to press into our left leg. Draw your belly in as you draw that right knee to your chest. And here, as that right knee hugs in towards the chest, feel the both outer hips hugging towards each other. And we're going to start to straighten that left leg. And the left leg may not straighten all the way to the floor. And if that's the case, keep it a little bent. You can also play with it. You can just start to move it up and down with the breath, back and forth. All of this is possible. And keep hugging those outer hips towards each other. We're going to start to move that right knee from one shoulder to the next. And try to keep it high if you can. Notice where you're feeling this. My favorite is, perspective, right? Most of the time when we start this exercise, we feel the movement where our hands are, hands and knees connected. It's pretty strong. It's quite a sensation. All well and good. I want you to bring that awareness now into where the thigh bone and the hip socket connect. So they're both true, right? It's just a different perspective. And notice how the whole pose changes as we bring our perspective to a different area. Do a few more like this. And again, if your knee is bent, that's fine. You can do the same thing with the knee bent. We're actually going to start to re-bend that knee as we take that right foot on top of the left knee. And take the heels of your hands or your thumbs, whatever feels stronger. We're going to press the thighs softly, but pretty, with some effort. Press the thigh bones away from the hip socket. So create a little space in the pelvis. And then take a nice big deep breath and feel that space in the low back. It's delicious. And we're going to start to now do a little pelvic tilt. You can drop the tailbone to the floor. The low back is going to lift up. And then we'll take that tailbone and lift it up towards the knees where the low back flattens to the floor. Keep going back and forth here. Excellent. On the next exhale that the tailbone lifts up and the low back flattens, it's safe to lift that left knee up and you can come in to thread the needle. You can interlace the hands behind the thigh. You can interlace the hands above the thigh. More importantly than where your hands are, is just keeping that right foot active. You want to reach the right knee out to the right and keep that foot nice and flexed. So the inner ankle is reaching to the left as the inner right knee is reaching to the right. And then we can start to draw the legs in. And drawing them in, you're going to feel a lot of sensation in that outer thigh, glute, maybe all the way up into the low back. So enjoy this, breathe, keep breathing, noticing that the breath, if you come up against like an obstacle, a wall of some sort, a wall of tension, see if you can feel it funneling out through your butt. And if this is enough, then stay here, especially if you've come up against a pretty strong wall. But if you haven't, it's like, I can move on. We can start to rock the knee out to the right, and then nice and slowly over towards the left. There's where the sensation is. And you can just rock back and forth here. Excellent. Then come back through center. We're going to drop the left leg to the floor or to the mat or to your bed. Walk it a little bit out to the left, and then with the arms out to the side, start to slowly drop both knees down to the right. Now this is a big stretch to the front of the thigh. And if the left knee does not like this, just take the foot off of the knee and place it underneath. Start to feel that left knee reaching forward towards the front right edge of the mat. And if you want a little bit more, you can reach the left arm away from the left knee. Stretch. One more breath in this position, and then as we exhale next, we'll take that left arm back down. You can take the right foot back on top of the left knee as we lift both legs back up. Start to inch your left foot back to the center line so it's easier for you to grab hold of the right ankle. Now you're holding the right ankle with the left hand. And as you press down through the right hand, just to slow down the action again, we'll start to bring that foot down towards the floor. If you notice that, oh, it's too much for the floor, I can feel it already, and it's only halfway down, take something underneath the foot and stay there. But if it feels okay, you can keep going. You can inch that left foot again a little out to the right. And once the foot has found either its block or, a cushion that's a little higher or the ground, you can start to reach the right arm up over the head and reach the right knee away from the right wrist. Oh, I love this. Is like my favorite new pose. I say that about all of them, but this one is just so nice feeling. So enjoy this. Take a couple of deep breaths. Excellent. We're going to take that right hand now. We're going to bring it over, grab hold of that right knee, hug it in. And we'll roll it back up to center. Slide the left leg straight. See if it's easier. Hug the outer hips towards each other. Cozy them in. And here again, just rocking that knee a little bit from side to side, seeing if there's any more freedom. That's one side, so let's move to the second. We'll drop that right foot to the floor as we start to bring that left knee up. Hug it in. Hug the outer hips towards each other and start to straighten that leg. And again, notice if it doesn't straighten, just play with it. See, they say that yoga meets you where you are. If it doesn't work like this and it's uncomfortable, then just start to move towards it. Eventually you'll notice that, oh, this is just as comfortable. Wow, how did that happen? It's called time and constant doing it. Start to move that left knee now from side to side, paying more attention to the thigh bone moving in the hip socket than the hands at the leg. Back and forth a few times using your breath. So if you're using Ujjayi breath, it's giving you a nice steady metronome to move the leg in a balanced way. Beautiful. We're going to start to bend that right knee again as we plant the left foot on top. And here again, the inner heel is reaching to the right as the inner knee is reaching to the left. We're going to take our hands onto the hips or the thighs, and press the thigh bones away from the hips. And then you can just do a little bit of movement. It should feel good. Also notice in this one, like if the shoulders are up in the ears, can you relax them down a little bit? Settle in here a little bit more. Little pelvic tilting back and forth. Does that feel nice? Certainly does for me. And then remembering that you want to plant the low back to the floor as you lift the leg up. And again, we want that heel reaching away, knee reaching away. Breathe. If it's a tight sensation, make it a little easier and just play with it. Don't stay at the most challenging spot so that you can't breathe. You want the breath to move right into that area. I almost feel as if when I'm breathing into a tight spot, I'm opening up the space in that spot and it's starting to breathe. So the muscle is starting to move like this because I'm directing breath there. Is it actually happening? I doubt it, but it certainly feels that way. So maybe it is. You know? Certainly seems to help get the muscles a little less stressed out. All right, let's start to move the knees over to the left and then explore the sensation moving the knees over towards the right. And again, we're looking for a little bit of interesting sensation so that we can breathe into it, make it feel even more comfortable. Trying to make our muscles feel inclusive to all this work. Excellent. And then we're going to start to tap that right foot back down towards the floor. Inch it over a little bit to the right so that both knees can drop over towards the left. Big stretch here. If it's too much of a stretch, we take that left foot off of the right knee. But if it feels okay, you can stay here. Here we're getting the stretch up in the inner waist, into the thigh, outer hip. If you want a little bit more, just start to reach that right arm up over the head, stretching it away from that right knee. Excellent. We'll take that hand back over to the side, pressing into both arms to lift the legs back up. Then grab hold of the left ankle with the right hand, inch the right foot over to the left as that foot either finds a pillow, a block, or the floor. Reach the left arm over the head. And as the left knee moves forward, the left arm reaches away. Big stretch here. Beautiful. Exhale, we'll start to roll over. We'll grab hold of that left knee. We'll hug it back in. Stretch the right leg straight. And again, just notice, does it feel any different as you rock it back and forth? Is it a little bit more open? Last thing we're going to do, two last things. Let's bring the knees in. And this is a great one for any kind of back issues. Just a little, draw the knees in and away, a little different version of a pelvic tilt. Should feel really nice. Circles, draw the knees away from one another. Also excellent work for the back when it's not feeling all that right. Switch direction. Beautiful. You can draw the knees together and do big circles. So as if you're outlining your sacrum here. And then outline it in the opposite direction. Excellent. And then back, drawing the knees to the chest here. You can either end with just a little boat, or you can draw the knee, hold on to the backs of the knees, draw the knees out to the underarms, and lift the feet up towards the sky, coming into a little happy baby. And if you've got happy baby, you can hold on to the backs of the knees, the ankles, or the feet. As the knees draw towards the underarms, lengthen the crown of the head and the tailbone away from one another, and try to get the back to the floor. Shoulders are melting. Here we are in a happy baby position where you kind of want to move around a little bit. Excellent. There we go. As we drop the knees nice and slowly to the floor, press the low back into the mat, arms out to the side, a little back and forth with the knees. And walk your feet together, and we'll start off our Shavasana with a little A simple bound angle pose, tailbone reaching down. If this bothers the back, then come into constructive rest with the knees together. And here we are, a little bit of Shavasana. Take your time with it. Always taking a few moments at the end of practice just to let everything you did sink into the body. Noticing now how the back feels as you breathe in and out through the low back, through the hips, into the legs. And when you feel ready, we'll just start to stretch ourselves nice and long here. You can stretch to the right side, you can stretch to the left side. Roll yourself over onto the side, any side you want. Just take a moment to thank yourself for your practice as you notice how you're feeling here physically, energetically, even where your mind is at. Notice your back is probably thanking you, your hips are probably thanking you. So let them rejoice a little bit longer before we make our way up to seated. And here we are sitting up nice and tall. We'll just take a moment once again to remind ourselves that our thoughts represented at our hands, at our head, should always be filtered through our hearts. Namaste.